program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
AMP2.TV presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.TV. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Good evening. Welcome to Tell Us Your Business. I'm your host, Karen Rayner, and if you'd like to call in tonight, have any questions, want to have a comment, or just want to say hello, our number here is 888-565-1470. Tonight, I'd like to talk a little bit about drug, alcohol, and mental health intervention. A lot of people don't really understand what an interventionist is, and my company, the Circle of Care Consultants, we specialize in helping folks find the appropriate types of help that they need for substance abuse, for mental health issues, even for kids that are being bullied in school or people that are just depressed, anxious, kind of unsure. And the state of the world today has everyone kind of up in arms. So today what we'd like to talk about is the importance of understanding the world around us, assessing what we're going through, and learning how to reach out for help and what that entails. As an interventionist, I am usually called in a crisis. What does that mean? That means that a family perhaps has a loved one, family member, or a friend that's going through some difficult times, may not know how to approach them, but they sense, something's just not quite right. And a lot of times as a society, we put a lot of shame, a lot of stigma on folks that are having difficulties, even though, quite honestly, we all have a little something going on. Everyone is struggling on a day-to-day basis just to survive and be happy, take care of our family, our friends, our loved ones. But what I think is important is that people understand that there should be no shame in asking for help. Everybody needs a hand up. Everybody can reach down and give someone a hand up. So largely what I find is that the problem starts with assessing the problem. What's going on with this individual? Are they in legal problems? Are they having trouble with their relationships? Perhaps they're not doing well with work or with school. And, a lot of times I'll get phone calls from folks that will say, what do I do? I'm arguing, my son or daughter is just slamming the door in my face. They're being disrespectful. They're failing out of school. My husband is getting calls from his boss at work that he's not showing up. A lot of different things that could trigger somebody to recognize that there's something going on, some issue that needs to be addressed. And so what I'll usually do is ask the very first question, have you talked to this person? Have you asked them if they need help, if anything is going on? Oftentimes, people are afraid to do that. They don't want to overstep their boundaries. They feel like they may be insulting someone or shaming them if there's something going on. But I will tell you, even from personal experience, we all need to be seen as human beings. And when someone looks at you and says, hey, I see you're struggling, is there anything that I can do to help? That means the world to someone who is in a depressive state, who is extremely anxious about reaching out for help, or is struggling with some true mental illness or some addiction issue. And so what I would like to really point out is that when you're asking someone if they need help, try not to sound accusatory, try not to say things like, you've disappointed me before, I see it's happening again, because that might make someone retreat. It might make them deny. Denial is the biggest problem in actually getting help when you're struggling with any kind of an addiction or mental health problem. That I've got this attitude often means that that ugly-headed monster called addiction is going to take hold and keep you there for a little longer than necessary. There's an old adage that people need to hit bottom before they reach out for help. I don't necessarily believe that that's always true. Yes, does it help? In many cases, sometimes seeing that, you don't have the answers and understanding that, we're all connected and we all need each other is really the first step. And understanding that there is a higher power, and that doesn't have to be a religious thing. I think a lot of people stray away from getting help because they think that it's a cultish type atmosphere in terms of the support groups that we have, Alcoholics Anonymous, Al-Anon, Narcotics Anonymous. There's an Anonymous for just about everybody out there. And it really just is a matter of doing a little Google search and then talking to some people that are professionals in the community that have been around for a long time who can steer and guide you towards the appropriate professionals. But back to the assessment piece. Again, you're going to ask somebody if there's anything that you can do to help. If you get the response of denial, which is, nope, everything's fine, you're crazy, you're the one with the problem, there's nothing wrong in my life, the next call should probably be to someone like me. An interventionist is a person who, without the same emotional bonds and ties, can come in, can talk to your loved one, can set some boundaries, can educate the family members and the loved ones of what we call the IP, or the identified patient. I like to call my clients because I'm not a doctor and I'm not here to identify your patient status. I let the medical professionals do that. As a certified intervention professional, or a CIP, we are trained and skilled at breaking denial, at family education, at understanding that this is a continual process, the process of recovery, and that just simply getting sober is only the first step. Most people feel that going to a detox, going to a treatment center, doing all of the levels of care, from residential treatment all the way down, followed by PHP, or partial hospitalization, intensive outpatient, followed by outpatient, and then perhaps one-on-one counseling for an extended period of time. And I usually tell my clients to be prepared for a year or two of pretty intensive therapy and an immersion into a community that will support them in their efforts to stay sober while they learn what recovery really means. Recovery is much more than just sobriety. It's a spiritual change within a person where, when they were using, they may have done things that they were ashamed of, they knew were wrong, they were manipulative, they were lying, cheating, stealing, whatever they needed to do to survive. And that doesn't make them a bad person. That makes them a person that was suffering with an illness. And now that they've been able to start working towards a silencing or a quieting of that monster that we call addiction, the second part of that is really getting to know yourself, living life on life's terms, healing all of those past traumas, which are so often the underlying cause for addiction, and just really getting to love yourself and love life, and really understanding that it's going to be okay if you do what you need to do every day to live a good life, to live a clean life, to take your meds on schedule as your doctor prescribes them if necessary, or to get involved in what we call medication-assisted therapy or treatment, which is MAT. Whatever you need to live a good life, harm reduction. Many people don't talk about that. Not everyone is a full-blown addict. There are different levels and layers of addiction, use, abuse. And again, bringing it right back home again, assessing what the problem is before you start running around looking for solutions is really the key to working with a professional and to actually taking the first steps to actually getting help. So if you have any questions, feel free to call us at 888-565-1470. And we'd be happy to answer any of your questions. You can also reach me personally at any time, 561-350-0310. Visit my website at thecircleofcare.com. And if you have any questions or just need to talk a little bit. I'd be happy to talk to you and try to help guide you a little bit. I'm very well connected in our industry. I've been doing this for over 20 years and have a bunch of initials behind my name that make my parents very proud. Don't mean a whole lot to everybody else, but I am a certified intervention professional, board registered level 2, also certified prevention specialist, certified mental health professional, and I practice a hybrid of intervention style that is driven from the ARISE method. The ARISE method is really an acronym to describe a wholly encompassing family healing program. My goal is not to just come in and take someone off to treatment and then disappear from your lives. My goal is really to work with the family towards healing. Addiction and mental health issues sustained for families for long periods of time really affect every single one of the people, that are in the family. And there's often so much collateral damage that doesn't get addressed. You may go to family sessions, but everybody needs to heal and everybody needs to start fresh and forgive and find that place of love in their heart, no matter what's happened before. And so I try to work with everyone as needed within a family, and ages range from 7 to, I think the oldest person I've helped so far has been 87. And it doesn't matter. It's never too late and it's never too early. That's why hitting bottom doesn't necessarily have to be the case in everybody's situation. So once someone's been assessed, then what do I do? That's the question. I will meet with the family. I will take full collateral history because, as you know, everybody's story is different. You can see one coin, it has two different sides, and everyone's going to tell, the view or the side of the story that they experienced. And that's very, very important because oftentimes a person who's not on their medication or who is abusing drugs or alcohol may have what I call those blind spots, those blackout periods, or just times that they'd rather forget. And so it makes it real hard for them to piece together a solid history. And without a solid history, it's hard to know what trauma someone may have experienced in life. Oftentimes we've closed those pathways off in our brain to protect ourselves. The human body is a resilient and remarkable thing. And, it is really important to find out, when did this start? It didn't start when you picked up a drug or a drink. It didn't start when you went off your meds. It started way, way before that. And if we can start to look at some of the underlying causes and connect you to community and to treatment and to really strong therapists, there's a real good chance that you'll be able to work through all of those issues, find peace, find happiness, find your own personal recovery and growth. Once someone has gone through the assessment period, I then would come in and make recommendations. Once I've educated the family, everyone knows what's going to happen in terms of setting boundaries and making sure that the person who is addicted or identifiably ill in the moment is not the one that's running the show, which is so often the case beforehand. Really allowing the family to take a breather in terms of the stress and trying to kind of stick their finger in the dam and all the holes that keep popping up, which is so often how it's described by family members trying to help somebody. Having someone like myself who is experienced, educated, understands what they're dealing with, and of course has the appropriate resources. I myself go around the country and visit all of the treatment programs, detoxes, therapists, outpatient centers. I do not refer to programs I have not had personal experience with or have visited myself. And there's a very good reason for that. I am looking for medical professionals. I'm looking for the tops in their field. There are treatment price points at every level. And so when someone says, I can't afford it or that's going to be too much, it's because they don't look hard enough. There are all types of organizations and places that truly are dedicated to helping people get through the entire treatment process. And so once I've recommended a program, the next goal is to pack a bag and get that person off to a detox center for medical clearance, which is the case pretty much, I would say 99% of the time. And sometimes, I'd like to say 100% of the time, just to be on the safe side. Detoxing yourself from drugs, alcohol, or medication can be extremely dangerous. I do not recommend that for anyone. That is something that can cause stroke, seizure, all kinds of medical complications. And so put yourselves in the hands of medical professionals that understand what they're doing. That is your safest bet. Once you have completed a detox protocol and you are safely detoxified from whatever substances or chemicals you were on, you would then be transferred over to a residential treatment program or partial hospitalization program if there was a ability for you to live at home or in a structured and safe, sober environment, transitional housing. And as you can see, there's a lot of nuances and there's a lot of things that you can do. This is why the help of a professional is often so very key. You've heard stories of people that have gone in and out of treatment multiple times in multiple episodes. That, to me, is a crime. I feel that that's a mismanagement of the assessment right from the start. Everybody can make a mistake. You can end up in the wrong place, but that should be quickly and cleanly addressed and adjusted so that the loved one is in the appropriate treatment for their issues and their illnesses. It's not one broad stroke for all folks. Once someone has completed their treatment episode, I would recommend that they continue on with outpatient, whether it's intensive, meeting several days a week for several hours at a time, or on an outpatient basis as described or discussed with their therapist and their therapeutic team. I do stay involved with the family for as long as they need me. It's not about just putting someone in treatment and letting them go. It's about celebrating their successes at the end of the long road. And to be honest, it's never really over. Once you've gotten sober and you've reached recovery, it's time to lend a hand and pull somebody else up. And so it's a wonderful community. Just got to give it a chance and become a part of it. I've never met anyone who said that it wasn't isolation, depression, sadness, and loneliness mixed with trauma and other things that have happened to us in life. But loneliness and isolating yourself from the world is a sure prescription for trouble. And so in those moments, reach out, reach up. There's someone there. I promise you someone will be there. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Help comes from the strangest places and the most unexpected. And that is the beauty of life. Learn to love yourself. Understand that that's an inside job and that all of the professionals can reach out and help you as much as they can. But ultimately, the job is yours and everyone else is there to support you. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free. Get in touch, 561-350-0310. I'm available 24/7. Interventionists don't sleep and wait for a crisis and things to happen. So if I can be of service or of help to anyone, it would be my pleasure to answer your questions and put you in touch with the people that I think might be able to help you out. Again, this is for adolescents, adults, seniors, all kinds of issues, gambling problems, shopping issues, sex addiction. It runs the gamut. This type of coping mechanism or lack of coping and going towards addictive behaviors and substances is really heartbreaking because there are other options. You're not alone. Reach out. Call in here, 888-565-1470. If we can help you and you've got legal issues, we've got attorneys that help people with DUI problems. We've got possession charges. We've got attorneys that will help with involuntary commitment, Baker acting, Marchman acting. If you're not familiar with those terms, you can Google them or you can give me a call and I'll fill you in and let you know what's going on. If you need any kind of referral or connection to a sober living, make sure that where you go, they are structured, they are safe, they have your best interest at heart. You know, it's your home away from home for a period of time. It's not just a way station. And so, you know, try to treat it as your home and try to reach out, like I said, to the community. They're there for you. Not only do you need to focus on the treatment aspect of getting well, but you should also look at life skill building. Some of the things that maybe other people were doing for you because you couldn't do them for yourself at the time that you were using or unable to function properly. You know, life skills in life are important. How to communicate, how to do things like laundry, how to do food shopping, eating well nutritionally, working exercise into your routine. Picking up semblance of schedule and routine is vitally important for someone in recovery. And that's why they have those really early meetings, 6 o'clock in the morning and earlier sometimes. They're trying to make them available to everybody, everywhere, anytime. And I will tell you that those meetings are free. So even if you feel that you have no insurance, you have no money, you don't know where to turn, and even though I promise you there are still people out there that will help you when you have nothing and you're down on your luck, you can always go to a meeting. You can always decide that today is the day that I reach out and that I attend a fellowship meeting and I surround myself with people who have been there, people that have done that, and people that have found their way out. It's a deep hole, and no one should be left to try to climb out alone. When someone recovers, one of the things they learn is to help someone behind them. Pay it forward. It's what keeps them sober. And so don't be afraid to reach out. Don't think that there are limitations or that you're out in the middle of nowhere, no one can help you. There are even fellowship calls where members will come out and sit with you and help you through a difficult moment and try to help you see that there are better ways for you to live your life. Nobody should be struggling with that self-loathing. You know, life is not a guarantee. It's a journey. It's not a race. We need to live in the moment and savor our own experiences and understand that nobody is perfect and that each one of us deserve happiness. And now that we're in February, the hallmark month of love, I hope that anyone who is suffering with depression or loneliness will reach out, go to a coffee house, talk to a stranger, say hello. So many people are out there just like you are. Don't feel like you're alone. Tonight on Tell Us Your Biz, I hope that we've opened some eyes. I hope that we've explained a little bit about what the Circle of Care does. Some of the other services that I provide personally are safe transport, so that if you need to send a loved one somewhere across the country or even locally, and you want to make sure that they get where they're supposed to get safely, give me a call. I provide those services as well. I also do therapeutic placement for adolescents that are struggling with in-school issues, college students with failure to launch. We have some wonderful collegiate recovery, and what a great age to really get your stuff together and be able to have a good future. So I'm especially happy to work with young people and kind of guide them on their journey and make sure that they connect with the appropriate people out there that'll help them as well. Also do some business-related stuff. I run probably, I think, one of the oldest behavioral healthcare networking groups in the country called the Inner Circle Network, where I try to pride myself on working with only the finest behavioral healthcare providers in the world and bring them together so that they meet each other. I want my friends to know each other. I want that inner circle to grow, and I want people to be able to have enough resources and the appropriate resources for every single person that reaches out to them or to anyone else for help. So the Inner Circle meets quarterly here in South Florida. We've held meetings in other states as well, and I always threaten to keep expanding that group. But the other things that I do as well is some business consulting for some of the startups that are coming to our area. This, both fortunately and unfortunately, has turned into a huge industry in behavioral health care and needs to be carefully regulated and monitored. Sitting on, the state's task force and trying to ensure that really the people that are out there that want to help not only have good intentions, but also have the top clinicians, master's level therapists that are really going to help you. So with that, I just want to thank you all and hope that you live in happiness, live in love. If there's anything that I can do through the Circle of Care Consultants, you can visit my website at www.thecircleofcare.com or call me at 561-350-0310. Thanks so much. Appreciate y'all being here with us tonight at Tell Us Your Biz, and look forward to speaking with you again in the future. If there are any topics or anything that you would like us to discuss, please feel free to let us know. You can email me at Karen, Karen, at thecircleofcare.com. And certainly wish you a wonderful February. Stay warm, everyone up north. It has been brutal. Thank you so much. Stay in the love.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.